Maximize your wealth now.
Yes, in business, finance, family, and lifestyle. Think about it. As a certified financial educator, my whole goal for this program originally was to bring business and finance together with spiritual principles and universal laws. And all of it needs to come from the heart. Got it?
Maximize your wealth now.
Absolutely. Yes!
Welcome back to Maximize Your Wealth Now.
In business, finance, family, and lifestyle, I'm Shirlene Reeves.
And I'm Barbara Wainwright, and we are so pleased to be bringing you some very special guests today. We have Linda Woodgate, who has traveled all the way from New Zealand to share her expertise with you on how to eliminate stress.
And we have DC Cordova. I am so honored to bring her to the set, and she's going to be talking about money and you and your belief systems around money. And she's had a phenomenal teacher by the name of Bucky Fuller, and she's going to share with us what she brings to the world.
DC Cordova is the CEO and owner of Accelerated Business Schools, a global organization with over 100,000 graduates from Asia Pacific and North America from over 65 countries since 1979. Her Money and You program has inspired some of today's greatest wealth experts and has touched the lives of millions globally. Her purpose is to uplift humanity's consciousness through socially responsible businesses. She is an ambassador of new education with a tireless pursuit to transform educational systems around the world and eradicate poverty and hunger. She is a humanitarian, philanthropist, and global business developer for various organizations. She is also in partnership with Wang Ming, one of the world's leading solar architect, designer, and entrepreneur of Solar Valley, China, in expanding his global markets. She is publishing the Money and You book series to educate the masses used by millions to reach financial success. Access to Cash has been downloaded globally and became an Amazon bestseller.
DC, welcome to the set.
Thank you. It's really exciting to be here.
And we are so excited to have you because we want you to share with us all about money and you. Tell us about what you're doing right now with it and how it evolved.
Well, I actually been doing this for 37 years, and it's a work that I inherited. And it is a combination of learning generalized principles as taught to us by masters like Bucky Fuller, but also using a thing that the creator of the program, Marshall Thurber and Bobby DePorter, created a thing called the business success model. And so it's really following traditional proven tools in business, but also doing following generalized principles, because generalized principles are always true. Mm-hmm. And even though you may not believe them, if you talk to enough very wealthy people, especially who are adding value to humanity, they do use generalized principles. They work with them. It's like the Tai Chi of life. Mm-hmm. And you follow the principles, follow proven business tools, and your success ratio, your ability to be successful really accelerates.
That's beautiful, because everybody's working so hard with their business, and they definitely want it to accelerate. But I think you go from the inside out. Is that right?
Well, yes, but I actually was very successful before I learned about principles, because I learned, I was in the legal field. I was a court reporter. I was going to grow up to be an attorney. So I learned strictly business and leverage and setting up systems. I learned from the masters. And but I was very unhappy. And then I had what could be called an epiphany, an enlightenment experience. Nice. When I was 26 years old, and began to look for, quote unquote, my job. When I was about 27 years old, I was in the presence of Bucky Fuller and realized that I really wanted to participate in the eradication of poverty and hunger. But one of the things, you can either choose to just do that, or you can choose to create systems and businesses that then you can do much more. So what we've been doing for 37 years is churning out social entrepreneurs, and that's our leverage. So people that were my business partners, like Robert Kiyosaki of Rich Dad Poor Dad,
One of my favorites.
Yeah, well, that book is based on the Money and You program and on the teachings of Buckminster
Really?
Fuller. Yes.
Oh, I've read them all of his books, and it's so informative.
Well, then later he went on to, he and Sharon Lecter developed that whole series on real estate, which is one way of doing it, and other businesses. And so for me, Robert and Kim and I, his wife, we worked together for 9 years. We hung out together for about 17 years. And they went on to do the investment side, and I went on with entrepreneurial education and became a global entrepreneur very quickly. And we have been overseas for over 30 years.
Wow.
And our biggest market is really the Chinese market. And this is a good thing. I know Americans get a little bit confused about this, but we really, in many ways, the Great Spirit took me there. And it was really about supporting people in coming out into the world and doing good. So we take people who are socially responsible, have no money, have very little money, don't have financial success. We teach them about business. And then we take people who are very successful that don't really have a tendency to adding value or doing humanitarian things. And we opened up their hearts and support them in becoming social entrepreneurs. And when you have them both in the room, but playing all those experiential games, you create amazing synergy.
Awesome. That's awesome.
I know there's so many stories that you have of successful students that have been through. I know Jack Canfield was also a student, and you've had so many. Well, how many students have you had?
Well, there's been over 100,000 graduates that have attended. But people like, for instance, Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen did the program in 1979. And so what they did is that they just learned and got more clear on what it is that they wanted to do. We are almost like an accelerator. So we can't really take credit for their success, but what we can take credit for is that we added to their arsenal of knowledge and the generalized principles of Buckminster Fuller, principles like precession, which is the scientific, the physics term for the ripple effects. When you really have an understanding of that, then what happens is that your creativity and your ability to create results really gets accelerated. Tony Robbins, we trained when he was 23 years old. And
Wow.
we can take credit for teaching him more about music and sound and environment. And then, of course, Marshall was very influential in being like his mentor at the time on teaching him how to look at different distinctions. I was too young except to teach Tony about logistics and environments, which he still, I know, appreciates. And he took it to a whole other level.
Yeah, he sure did.
And, people like Harv Eker, who studied with us for 7 years. By that time, the original creators have moved on. Bobby D. Porter, whom you have interviewed, of Supercamp, she was one of the co-founders of the work. Wow. One of the things that we did then, we began to touch more and more people like Harv Eker, who was with us for nearly 7 years, did every program. He was in the health industry and then decided to move on to his own, whole business. And I can actually say that much of what he learned was at our business school for entrepreneurs. So what we do is we will take people who are ready or are looking for what it is that they want to do, and then they learn these generalized principles and then begin to go into a process of that sometimes our programs create a thing called perturbation, which is based on the theory of dissipative structures. And so what happens is that you mix an old reality with a new reality, and then it just kind of begins to create a combustion almost. And then there's a creativity that occurs. So when you go to moneyandyou.com, you will see many notable graduates. So some of them have gotten their start. For sure, Kiyosaki did, and Blair Singer, and some of the other people that I mentioned. But then there's other people that just get more fuel, so to speak. So I just want to make sure that people understand. And my vehicle, the Money and You program, has affected so many lives. We have, I keep saying 12 countries, but it's probably more like 16 countries now that we have affected in how they are now educating their young. We're like a portal. People come in and then they get really exposed to many technologies, people that have never heard it, and for people that already may know technologies and may be very successful, their global markets get opened because we have such huge network, especially in the Asia Pacific region.
Right. Wow. That's so brilliant. Well, I wanted to bring up the Money and You and Access to Cash book because right on the title it says, wealth is having access to cash, resources, networks, investments, experts, knowledge, wisdom, and support. And that's so true. Money's not just about the cash, it's about everything that it brings with it, right?
Yes. Well, the thing is that was a definition that I came up with after studying with the wonderful people like Lynn Twist of A Soul of Money, who she's actually a very good friend, and being part of the Pachamama Alliance, also, of course, a student of Buckminster Fuller. And you have to take a look at a person sometimes feels very resource poor. Like if you take emerging nations, of course there's people who are working on their survival.
Right.
And I'm 1/3 of my life is humanitarian work.
Yes.
So we have 1.4 billion people that have no electricity. We have almost 2 billion people with no toilets.
Wow.
We have 17,000 children that still die every single day of starvation, hunger, dirty water, and lack of medicines because of refrigeration. So what you're looking at now is like when you live in a country like the United States, we have many more resources than a lot of people don't. And so there's 14 what are called economically developed countries, rich countries.
Okay.
There's 12 countries that have no poverty. 12 countries that have no poverty.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
I
most
can't
people
imagine
don't.
it.
Yeah.
We have 3 countries at least that are using 100% renewables right now. 100% renewables. So what happens is that for most people, they don't realize all the resources and the access that they have in their own sphere of influence, in their own families. So when you begin to really see this new definition of wealth, you automatically begin to feel wealthier immediately because you can make a list. When you join network marketing companies, they always make you make a list of all the people that you can sell to.
That's right.
So what you're actually doing is counting the resources that you have.
Yes.
So if you really, a great exercise for everyone is to really go and make a list of all the things, all the people, all the different artifacts that you have, and all the free education.
Yes.
I mean, I always tell all the young people that I would have killed to have the social media, a computer.
Me too.
I mean, the things that we now have, the mobile phones. I mean, when we started, we almost had those little lithograph machines.
Remember those? You cranking out one copy
high
at a
school.
time, right?
The ditto machine, right? It was a ditto
like that,
machine or
something
something.
like
So the access that we now have, like even if you don't have any money, you can actually go to public libraries and use their computers. And literally, there's 3 stages, of course, to money. You're in the process of making the money, keeping the money that you managed to make, or growing the money that you managed to keep. And in programs like Money and You, why you can have all kinds of different people in it is because you have all of these different generalized principles and business principles. But if you're just making money, you need to have, for instance, the business success model.
Yeah, this is a great book too. I mean, I can't wait to get into it.
Yes. So the accelerated business success model is really beginning to learn the formula on how you set up businesses or become a better employee. Because not everyone was meant to be an entrepreneur.
That's right.
And so I work with a lot of university leaders, ministers of education, with presidents, and I met Fidel Castro at the height of the Cold War. Wow. And the same thing that he asked me, I still tell everyone, which is, people always say, is an entrepreneur born or an entrepreneur is made? Mm-hmm. I think my experience of being in the back of rooms and through thousands and thousands of people and knowing most of the big masters in the industry, I truly believe that you're either born an entrepreneur or you discover that you are an entrepreneur. But then there are certain people who can be part of an entrepreneurial team, which a lot of the young high-tech people do. And what they do is they make it so that you have profit sharing. So with a book, when you understand the business success model, you begin to have an understanding of how to even become a better employee. So you can go to your employer and say, how would you like me to bring an extra $100,000 into this company?
Yeah.
I mean, what boss, what leader is not going to say yes?
Exactly.
And they're going to say, well, and I would like to get 10%. How much do you pay your salespeople? 10%, 20%, whatever.
Yes.
And I would like to have that. And then have that be like a project. And we had a name in the old days called intrapreneurs, which is
nice.
kind of coming back now.
Yeah.
But 30 years ago, we used to talk about intrapreneurship, and that's what that is.
Wow.
So then you have the safety of your work. You don't have to take the risk. You're still an employee. You have all of the different benefits.
The benefits are big, yeah.
But now you also have the ability to be able to make extra money for your company. And this is something that when you really begin to understand the different personality styles, which we cover in Money and You, the DISC profile, which
Yes.
hopefully you will have someone, then you have the ability to be able to understand how to be a better employee.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Entrepreneurs could really make a difference for a company. They know the company inside and out, so they're the best people to say, hey, we could really make a difference if we did something, shifted this way or shifted that way.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant.
DC, it's been so awesome having you on the set with us. Do you have any final thoughts you want to give us or to our viewers to take away that they could do today?
Today, that they can really do is, aside from just taking an inventory of all the resources that they really have, is to really know that today is the first day of the rest of your life, and that you really need to let go of anything that's not doing you or your family or the environment a good thing. You need to let go of things that are hurtful for yourself, your family, whether that's a habit or something that it's going to end up hurting you in some way. That is the most important thing. And that if I can do it, I'm a little girl from Chile. I'm a Latina. I am not smarter than most people. But what I use were systems that had been proven, generalized principles, and anybody can do that.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm Shirlene with Maximize Your Wealth Now with a new tip on how to maximize your wealth. What if you could compel your clients rather than selling them so that they would work with you? Wouldn't that be so much easier? Wouldn't it be easier to have more income? I talk to entrepreneur after entrepreneur, and they're running from networking group to networking group, and they're so tired. And the reason they're tired is because they're not making any money, and they don't know how to work with their perfect clients. What if I said to you, compel, don't sell, and I could give you the tips for how to do that? I'm tearing back the curtain, and I'm going to show you how I built my business from zero to multi-millions, and I want you to make multi-millions too. So check it out on my website, maximizeyourwealthnow.com, and get signed up for the next class. I promise you, I guarantee you, you won't be sorry.
Linda Woodgate has over 20 years' experience in natural health as a life coach, a laughter yoga leader, a workshop facilitator, a spiritual teacher, and Indian head massage practitioner and teacher. She brings valuable communication and teaching skills to the world of holistic health of mind, body, and spirit. Linda developed a program specifically aimed at reducing stress and moving moods in a very easy, fast, and fun way. She migrated from England to New Zealand, where she owned and operated an organic food store and cafe. Her adventures inspire others to make changes toward living their dreams, while she provides support for their emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical well-being with ease and relative speed. Linda is passionate about helping others through transformation and is a master with tools that people can integrate into their daily lives. She has a deep and compassionate understanding of others, which is reflected in her favorite expression: live, laugh, and love your moments.
Linda, it is so great to have you here. I just want to share that we've had time to spend together for the last week and a half, and it's been amazing. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I've learned so much. So I'm so excited for you to be here to share some of your expertise with our TV audience.
Oh, thank you. And it's wonderful to be here and see you both and be in a beautiful place.
All the way from New Zealand.
Yeah.
So you're a long way from home.
Yeah, but it was worth it to come and see Barbara.
Thank you. And it's snowing there now, and obviously not snowing here in California, so that's a really...
It's a really good excuse to be here, you know. I just thought I'd miss our winter this year and come and see you instead. That's right. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
absolutely. And
So
have a look round.
I got to learn a lot about your background. First of all, Linda worked with the Navy. She was also worked with the police department, and then had a spiritual awakening, if you will, and is now very provides a lot of great information and systems and methodologies for people to really get inside and find out who they are. And I'd just love for you to share about some of those.
Oh, okay. I think I started with working with people with stress. You know, we all have our own version of stress, whatever that is, whether it's upset, arguments, jealousy, the boss, you know, at work, or all those things that can stress us out. But, you know, there is no, where is it? You know, where is stress? You know, does it, you know, whereabouts is it? You know, can you see it? Can you touch it?
You mean in our body?
Yeah,
or?
well, you can't see it.
It's like the wind.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
just like the wind. So it's working with everybody's version. It's very unique to each individual, depending on how they store the information that they were given, you know. So I talk about the subconscious mind as being the filing system, because it files absolutely everything you've ever done. Okay, but it's unique to you. Even if you had an identical twin, you know, they would not be storing the information the same as you.
Wow.
So one of the things really is to understand that you are unique and that the information you have chosen to keep in there is in your filing system. Okay, so with it being in a filing system, it seems easier to actually move it around or change it. You know, so say for instance, we file, I'll just go back a bit. We file all that information in that filing system by our senses. So it's by what we see, what we hear, what we touch, what we smell, what we feel, whichever one I've missed out. And so that's how it's filed into that subconscious mind. And so how that information got there, as I say, is how you put it in there. So if I take, for instance, a rose, you know, a white rose as a very pungent smell, it might remind me of my auntie.
Yes.
And then I have a red rose that has a very light fragrance, and it might remind me of the rose garden down the road. So where would I find it? Under auntie, under rose, under smell, under colour. And we just don't know, and you don't have to know. You just know that it's in there somewhere, you know, and it will be filed in different places. And also the emotions, you know, that we go through at the time as well will be filed in different places, you know, and like attracts like, I think, in the filing system. So if you've had one experience, it'll probably track down the same sort of experience, really. And so working with people, as you say, all the things that I've done with my life and been in stressful situations during that, and how I got myself out of those stressful situations, how you work with your mind, because your mind has created the stress. Nobody else does it. You choose to react, you know, you choose to react to whatever somebody is saying to you. That's how you react. When you're reacting from your filing system.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's very true. When you're reacting, though, a lot of times you're not really making a conscious choice. It's when you've gained enough awareness, then you can actually have a choice. But if you're reacting, you're in the moment, and you're acting on what you said, on your subconscious, whatever's in there, that's what's going to come out, because it's in there so deep. And when you begin to discover those things, that's when you can start making a choice of which way you want to behave. And you have great tools for helping people to discover those things inside, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You want to get into those now?
Yes, we want you to share the tips, share the tools, please.
Well, one of the things on my website is a thing called Stress Busters, and I'm not very good at taking a long time to settle or a long time to sit down. I'm not good at quietening my mind that easily, and so that's why I created these really, really short ones for people. And just going back to what you said about choices, and reacting, and I put it down also, as you say, we're reacting from our filing system because that's what our life gave us in all its forms and shapes and sizes. And so if we start to actually be in the moment or be present, much more present, then we can actually respond.
Yes.
So we're responding from the moment.
Yeah.
And when I say that, let's give you an example. Like somebody falls over the curb, okay, and they sprain their ankle.
Yes.
Okay. So when you say to them, how did you sprain your ankle? They say, I fell off a curb. So, but why did you fall off the curb?
Yeah.
Because
deeper.
what were you thinking about? And people will say to me, what do you mean, what was I thinking about? What's that got to do with my sprained ankle?
Yes.
You say, well, whatever you were thinking about, because you weren't thinking about the curb, so whatever you were thinking about is created this. You weren't conscious enough to actually step down the curb. And also, and I won't go into this, we don't know where our mind is, okay? So information can be stored actually anywhere in the body. So I just put this out there as a little stinger, really, is that sprained ankle, whatever you were thinking about at that time, may well be locked in that ankle. And you might turn around and say, my ankle has a weakness now because I sprained it. Well, to me, in my philosophy, what's locked in there was whatever you were thinking at the time as an emotion. And there are lots of people out there that do body work as well as mind work to help you to move that on.
So I would just love it if you will tell us about some of the modalities. I know we have hypnosis. I think you do some NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, and I know you have Indian head massage that you do, and you have something you call Move the Mood. Is that right?
I want to hear about that.
Well, Move That Mood is really, like we're talking about choices and reactions and responses, is I give people things to move that mood, some tools it's you to help you move out of that mood. Whatever that mood is, even if you go from being angry to a disaster to a little bit better, you're not going to get from being angry to laughing. Well, you might. I could try that for you. But it's just being able to say to yourself, let me move that. And, it's like our mind is a bit like a child. We're really, really good at distracting children, aren't we? That they hurt their knee, they do something, they cry, you distract them. Do the same with your mind. Distract your mind, go, hey, let's go over here and look at this tree. Or let's go and do some other shopping that's not stressing me out. So one of the things I was going to say was, let's just do some of these. One of the things you can say to yourself when you get yourself into a grump, I am who I am and that's okay. I am who I am and that's okay.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how you say it, just say I am who I am and that's okay. And you can also say I am where I am and that's okay.
Yes.
I am where I am and that's okay. So some of the movements. So you're driving along. Okay, we're going to do some action now. I want you to join it.
Okay.
We're driving along, okay, and we're feeling very, very grumpy and we're about to go to a meeting, okay. So this is a little bit of laughter yoga and we're not very happy about this, okay. So you're going to raise your shoulders. Your shoulders are up here because you're really cross and you go, okay. Okay, one more. And you start to laugh. One more. Okay, so everyone is going to laugh at you.
Okay, sorry. You got me going, okay?
Okay, anything, everything. You can laugh at your antics. We're absolutely incredible, creative human beings. And we can just laugh at our antics that we get up to and how we do that. And so can I just do a little quick one?
Yes.
Okay, so this one is another little laughter yoga one, which may be crossing the line a bit. Okay, so okay, so your arms go up, and we're just going to go extreme from the laughter, which is a little bit louder, a bit more expression, and more expression. There you go. See, so you're going to extremes of emotion just to move that mood. And that to me is one of the most important things, really. Just know that you have a choice.
Yes.
Just know that you can actually move it. If you want to be grumpy, that's great, but don't take it out on anybody else. Just leave the room and take a breath. You know, just really quickly, just take a breath. If something's upsetting you, agitating you, move away from that agitation. Take yourself to the toilet, if you like, and just breathe. Just take a breath. Distract yourself.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming from all the way from New Zealand to share this with us.
Oh, it's lovely.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you.